Well, I want to follow up, gentlemen, and good to see both of you. Very quickly, just on this issue of environmental justice, marginalized communities, as my good friend Tammy Duckworth, Senator Duckworth mentioned. It's not been you guys yet, it better not be, but the Biden administration continues on their actually targeting of marginalized communities in my state. Just on Monday, we had, Mr. Chairman, our 21st executive action targeting solely the great state of Alaska, 21st, very negative for our state. And the Inupiat community leaders of the North Slope put out a press release. Great Americans who don't, this is a press release in some ways it's out of character because they're so angry, Mr. Secretary. They're so angry because they're being attacked. Native Americans, marginalized community, environmental justice BS that you hear from this administration all the time. Here's just a couple quotes. This is when they took 50% of the National Petroleum Reserve of Alaska, set aside by Congress for energy development, 50% off the table, going all the way back to President Obama. Not based on science, radical environmental groups. So here's the Inupiat leadership of my state. All this baloney about environmental justice, marginalized communities, we really care about helping the most downtrodden communities. It's baloney, it's bullshit. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but it is. Here's the chairman of ASRC. On multiple occasions, ASRC, the borough, and the tribe have offered to work in partnership with the Biden administration on issues affecting our region, the North Slope borough, bigger than California, by the way. Secretary Holland and President Biden have chosen, with this decision, not only to ignore the voices of the North Slope Inupiat, Native Americans, but to exclude us from the decision-making process on issues that impact our Inupiat communities and our culture. Here's the Inupiat leader of the Arctic Slope region. Secretary Holland has violated her department's consultation guidance by failing to consult with the Inupiat community of the Arctic Slope. That's a tribe. We are a federally recognized tribe, and this action directly impacts the livelihoods of our tribal members. This is further proof that the Biden administration prioritizes its relationships with environmental organizations over the sovereignty of Alaska Natives. Here's the North Slope Borough Mayor, Harry Brower, a Inupiat leader. I have a responsibility to the people of the North Slope to protect the long-term sustainability of communities through a viable economic base, a responsibility I take seriously for the Native people of my state. Secretary Holland is failing in her responsibility to the Alaska Native people of the North Slope. Mr. Secretary, it goes on and on and on. And all this baloney about environmental justice, we want to take care of disadvantaged communities. Guess what? There's a huge exception in the Biden administration, and it's not for Alaska Natives. We'll target them. We'll make sure we crush their economic opportunities. Can I get both of your commitments not to do this? 21 executive actions smashed in my state. There's no other state in the country that's getting this kind of bullshit focus on shutting down Alaska, ignoring the Native people, and then they go to the media and say, oh, we care about the disadvantaged communities of America. That's a bunch of baloney. Not in my state, they don't. Mr. Secretary, you and I have talked about this. I'm sorry. I am so angry about this. You haven't done it yet. General, you haven't done it yet. I sure hope you don't. Do you have any response? Or can I just get your commitment? Don't do this to my state. If Joe Biden had a Republican administration that came in on year one and issued 21 executive actions against Delaware, he would be as mad as I am.
Senator Sullivan, I can assure you that environmental justice and working with marginalized communities is not baloney to me. I don't believe it's baloney to the administration.
But as long as they're not they're in disadvantaged communities in Alaska, then they get targeted. Just commit to me to not do
my
that.
commitment that I'm going to work with the Native communities in Alaska. I talked to Mayor Brower a few weeks ago about some needs that are up there on the North Slope. It's an ongoing dialogue. We're going to try and serve those communities as I think they're being served across the country.
Well, I want to work with both of you on whether it's the Port of Nome, what's going on in Barrow. We had General Gibbs, who was up in Barrow with me this summer, who did a great job, General. I'm sorry, I love the Corps. I think both of you are very qualified. This is just
Senator's time has expired.
very difficult for my constituents to have to deal with. And I think it's unfair, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to have a hearing on this. This administration targeting one state with shutdown. Thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to submit questions for the record.